welcome to Knafs at Night. I'm Ben.
I'm Austin.
And today we're going to be talking about how the city of Portland has crowned themselves the king of knives. Even it comes with a certificate.
Why paper makes an awesome and underrated knife handle material.
And the Lander 4 Kickstarter ends tomorrow. So if you want to be part of this, now is your moment. It comes with all of the backer goodies, including corn scales, a bandana, a brass tag, and all of our love. Now's the moment. Ends tomorrow. Back it on Kickstarter. Let's go to the news. First in the news this week, we noticed that there is a brand new organization in the knife industry in Portland. It is called the Portland Knife Center of Excellence.
Oh.
Kind of interesting. It sounds regal, doesn't it?
I mean, the seal is doing it for me.
The seal is doing it for all of us,
Yes.
right? So the goal of this organization is to bring global awareness to Portland, the city in the Northwest, as a destination to connect and celebrate the passionate knife manufacturing community while building pride in American craft, education, and innovation.
Yeah.
That's pretty dang cool.
They
So you've
did
got
this-
several knife manufacturers.
They did it all around National Knife Day, too, right?
They did.
That was kind of their...
So you've got CRKT,
Yeah.
you've got Benchmade,
Okay.
Gerber,
Okay.
Leatherman.
I heard there was a fifth.
There's a fifth. You ever
Okay.
heard of Steelport Knife Co.?
Can't say that I've heard of that one.
Haven't heard of them either.
Yeah.
But here's what's interesting about this. All of these CEOs got together and they created this thing, and then the mayor of Portland signed the certificate. Now,
Yeah.
Austin, would you be so kind as to read the first whereas? There are like 7 whereases here. We're not trying to mock this. I actually think this organization is really interesting. But I wanted to clue into this whereas because it's really fascinating to me on a data level and on a public relations level.
Number 2, if you count the top one, of 9. Whereas Portland's knife manufacturing strength is evident by over 50% of knives sold in the U.S. being made in Portland Metro.
Okay, I want to read that again. 50% of knives sold in the U.S. being made in Portland Metro. That is what caught my attention. It's literally their very first bullet point.
Your first sentence on this whole page.
Now, you lived in Portland.
Yes, I did.
I lived in Portland.
Yes.
So I actually love Portland.
Yeah, but I feel like we've got a good read for kind of what's going on there, especially with the knife industry.
With the knife industry, especially where I design for a company that's making in China.
Yep.
Victorinox is actually very public with some of their data. So there are articles in Adweek and Business Insider, so pretty reputable news organizations that say that Victorinox is cranking out 45,000 knives a day.
Oh, doggy. That's a lot.
This is where it gets curious to me, Austin, because I looked at it and I'm like, okay, CRKT, number one, they're not making their knives in the Portland metro area. So I think this might be a typo on their certificate.
Yeah, or maybe a PR person didn't have enough of the specifics to know, hey, we need to say made domestically or just headquartered in. Maybe,
Yes, yes, headquartered in. But this is actually saying 50% of knives sold in the U.S. are made in Portland metro.
Yeah.
Now, I did a little bit more digging because I'm a nerd and I can't help myself.
Let's do it.
So I went to Jungle Scout, which is an Amazon tool. And you can basically plug in some data from Amazon and it kicks out an approximate number of units sold in a month.
Okay.
So I took a Victorinox Classic SD, which is the best-selling pocket knife on Amazon. And I plugged it in. This is not the SD. This is a different, I don't even know which one this is.
Tinker, maybe?
Tinker, Super Tinker.
Yeah.
Anyway, pretend it's the Classic SD. You plug it into Jungle Scout, and it gives you a number of 11,430 of these sold per month on Amazon alone.
Just on Amazon.
So if you multiply that by 12, you're looking at 137,000 of these sold yearly.
Jeez.
Yearly.
That's crazy.
And the primary market for this is, chances are, the U.S.
Oh, I'm sure of it, yeah. We have the best knife laws here.
Right. Yeah. So these are sold all over the world, but at the same time, I suspect it's sold in the U.S. Now, this is a Leatherman Arc. Pretend it's a Leatherman Wave because I didn't have a Wave handy. That's one thing about this show is we're kind of like, what do we have?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's use
Everybody check your pockets.
Yeah.
This is out of Jamie's pocket.
Yeah, literally. So Leatherman Wave, if we take the same data, they're selling 3,810 per month, according to Jungle Scout.
Okay.
So this is third-party data. We
Okay.
could be totally wrong. For 45,000 yearly. That's 45,000 of the Wave yearly versus 137,000 of the Classic yearly. Now, you could take the retail price and say, well, the Wave is more expensive, and you could do more math there.
Sure.
I guess my thesis on this is I think the certificate's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. To me, it feels like a classic PR, like, you know, someone created this new group of 5 companies and they want to have some sort of presence for National Knife Day and they just got whatever they could out of there. But you come into people like us who know some of the details, are a little bit of a sticklers for numbers and stuff like that. And if these numbers are correct, and basically, didn't we say the Victorinox is making as many a day as basically what we said Leatherman Wave does per year on Amazon.
Yeah,
I think we're leading somewhere here.
Yeah, that's the thing, and we don't have the data. In fact, all of these are privately held companies. Actually, Gerber's is public. Fiskars is public. So there's a little bit of sales data, but you don't get like to dig down into it.
Right.
Benchmade sequel, by the way.
Yes.
I love that.
One of the best all time.
Love that one.
Yeah.
They don't release it. CRKT privately held. So like, I actually reached out to the PR firm and asked, because there was an email. I emailed Kim and I asked Kim, where did the data come from? Because I'm curious. So anyway, it's a little thing, but it's interesting to me to see how the knife industry moves and ebbs and flows. You've got these 5 companies up in Portland saying, we want to start something. We want to be part of this group.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
But if you're going to put a seal and say whereas, I'm going to ask questions.
If the mayor's going to sign it, it probably needs to be accurate. So
Ted Wheeler.
Yeah, Ted Wheeler.
Where'd you get your data, buddy?
Come on, man. You should be double and triple checking that stuff.
And this is all in good fun.
Yeah.
I actually think it's really cool. I think anytime you can get knife guys together, knife enthusiasts together, that is a good thing.
Well, I remember all the way back, not to tangent too much here, but all the way back when we worked at Blade HQ, we had a shirt that said like the big knife cities on it. Basically, it was like Seki City, Portland, Oregon, Seoul. Yep, exactly. And so it belongs in that conversation of like biggest knife places in the world. And when you're talking about it domestically in the U.S., I could see how someone might come to some conclusions without doing much work. But we can be a little bit of a stickler here. So
I know.
I like it.
I like it. It's fun.
No, it's
fun. I like. And I respect it. I really genuinely do.
Of course. So,
the next item in the news, our friends over at Big Eye Design, literally as we were launching the show, what happened, Austin?
They released a new pen. They're calling it the Baseline pen. I believe
Baseline bolt action.
Is only bolt action, was my thought there. But it looked like they were doing kind of their standard assortment of colors and materials and stuff like that. But the real purpose of this thing is, I think it's $55
for the early bird.
Early birds,
yeah.
Okay.
So if you're looking for a nice pen, check out the guys at Big Eye Design.
Yeah.
And this upcoming Kickstarter that's happening right now, like, dang.
Yeah.
It's a good entry point.
Those guys are awesome. If you're looking for a very high quality EDC pen that's made of a nice metal material, you probably want to start here.
Yeah. I love it.
Super cool.
Love supporting friends, and they are the best of the best out there.
Yep.
So, next on the list, we have to plug the email newsletter and giveaway.
Let's do it.
James says this isn't supposed to be a plug, so I don't know what we do next.
I'm definitely not reading this then. Okay, let's talk about the newsletter. Did you know that when you sign up for the Knafs.com email list, you're permanently entered to win our weekly giveaway? It's true. Sign up for the email and stay subscribed, and you have a chance to win every single week. Sign up your mom too, guaranteed to make you her favorite child. We think she'll like our friendly emails and ridiculous notes we put in there, and if she doesn't, tell her your sister did it. Anyway, sign up. We think you'll like it.
Dude, that was a good read.
Hey, thank you. Someone else wrote that for me?
I wrote it.
Yeah, right before the show.
I told Austin, like, I will write this, you have to read it. And maybe next week we hand it off.
Yeah, maybe we'll switch them. So
I love it. Sign up for our email, guys. It is actually a fun little spot. And you'll be entered to win weekly in a giveaway.
Go win a knife. Nothing better than a free knife.
Yep, absolutely. And coming up in Knafs News, we've got the Lander 4 Kickstarter, and we've got some exciting news from the shop about the prototypes. Let's go over there. I've got something cool to show you. These just came in yesterday. These are the final prototypes for the Lander 4. There's the sheep's foot version, the black sheep with that black micarta on it. There's the sheath for it, and then we've got the final version of the micarta with that 14C28N steel. Now, one thing we noticed is the retention on these sheaths is maybe a little looser than we want, so we're actually going to be making a couple changes to it before we go to production. A couple changes to the lanyard, but we are super close, and we're in the final days for this thing. So if you want to be part of it, pick it up on Kickstarter. It is the Lander 4. Now we are on to the Moon Crew moment.
Let's take a look at some of our favorite Facebook posts from the week.
I love it.
Let's do it. We're starting today with Wayne Jenkins, who put in a text post, but he was the one who pushed us over that $100,000 threshold on Kickstarter.
It's pretty dang cool. If you're sitting at like 99 and you're like, I will be the one.
I'm going to add that digit to this Kickstarter, basically. So that was super cool.
It's pretty dang cool.
Shout out to Wayne. Thank you for the support there. Number 2, Spanish speaker pocket dump. Spanish speaker pocket dump. Let me try that again. This one's from Carlos. What's he saying?
Carlos is saying my Lander 3 in good company, but it's translated, so I can't see what it says. Oh,
original.
no, we broke it.
You got it.
Okay, so Carlos said, mi el 13, el 3. Man, sometimes when you gotta like, it's got the English translation right underneath
Too easy, yeah.
Mi L3 bien acompañada. So,
Very nice.
my L3 in good company. And I actually think that's a good translation.
Yeah. All right. Go Facebook. Let's go.
You got
Yeah.
a nice, that's a lander. What is that?
That's a 3. Yeah, but he's got natural scales on that bad boy.
I don't see that very often.
No, not very often at all. I like it too with the black
He's kicking
blade.
around with a Leatherman. What is that Leatherman?
Something.
Wave?
I'm so bad at Leathermans. I'm the worst person to ask. And
Maybe
some sort
if
of
you
light,
joined
too.
the city of Portland.
I should have joined the coalition or whatever it is.
You should have started the coalition.
I would have known. That's my mistake. Cool.
I love it. And last, this one's interesting.
Yeah, so we titled this one Semi-Auto Lander 2, but basically this is from Peter Kesenich, maybe? Kesenich? And he has basically discovered that the crossbar lock on your Lander 2 and I think just the Lander 2.
Probably the 2.
Yep, can kind of serve as almost like a assisted opening spring mechanism if you're using it that way. It's super neat. So if you're holding it kind of flat, I don't have a Lander 2 with me, but if you're holding it kind of flat, you can actuate the crossbar and it will sort of rotate the blade out for you, kind of kick it out a little bit, and you can use gravity to do the rest of the job there.
That's great.
Yeah, super
I
cool.
love it.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Nice find, Peter.
Thank you guys. If you don't know what the Moon Crew is, it is our Facebook group where we talk knives with all sorts of people and you all talk together, which is one of my favorite parts about what we're doing right now. I also love the Ship Sharpening Shop. Let's go to the shop.
Let's head there.
Here at the Ship Sharpening Shop, we've got Keith over here sharpening. Wow, that is a tongue twister. Here I've got a James Brand chapter in my hands with that sweet, sweet titanium. This one is super thin too, so kind of a fun little knife with a lanyard on it. Love the James Brand. They're good dudes up in Portland. And then we've got this beautiful, I don't even know how to pronounce it, guys, Laguiole, I believe, out of France. And I just got my fingerprints all over it. But beautiful little knife. You've got a bone handle going on there with a corkscrew. And it is a slip joint as well. Just like that. And then last on the list, this one made my little heart sing. I saw a blog post the other day where people dogged on like gas station knives. I actually love a good, I don't know, this is a 420 stainless Taiwan that looks like a gas station knife with a compass in the end of it. You got to start somewhere, folks, and this thing is a beauty. Look at the sheath. It's like a pressed leather sheath going on here. That is the sort of stuff that I love and enjoy. That is the Ship Sharpening Shop. Good job, Keith.
And we are back with The Edge of Intelligence. This is our section where we basically give AI a prompt. Jamie throws something into one of the AI softwares and spits out something knife related. So
open it up, Austin. What you open it with today?
Oh, I've got a good one this week, actually.
What you got?
I've got a Lander 1, but it's got these aluminum scales who, I forget the company that does
AWT.
AWT, thank you. And I also threw the deep carry lynch clip on the back there. So
solid.
14C Lander with the aluminum handles and the
14C.
It's one of my favorite blade steels of all time. I will sing its praises until the day I die.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a bold statement.
I love 14C 28N. It is me and 14C basically all the way. I'm going to let you read that.
I'm on it.
Let's do it.
Okay, this says the prompt. Make a 5-second theme song for a pocket knife and EDC YouTube show segment called Fresh Prints where we show random interesting 3D printed things. This song should be based off the theme song from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The idea for this prompt is from EGE51 on YouTube.
That's a good one.
Oh, it didn't actually write this song. I was hoping for like some Mozart going on here.
Oh, no, I see.
I don't know the tune to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air very well, so I'm going to hand this one
I'll take it back. I think I got this one. Now this is a show all about cool designs with 3D printed things that'll blow your mind. We're talking Fresh Prints where the tech's so prime, just hit play, watch it now in no time. Not my best singing job, but I feel like there's too many syllables in these for that song. So
all right.
It goes like, this is a story all about how. That's a tough one.
I know there's some musician watching this that's like...
Just auto-tune that.
Yeah. Can you auto-tune this for us? And we will put it as the underlay music in Fresh Prints.
Let's do it.
It doesn't matter how bad it is. I can't guarantee we'll keep it forever.
Yeah.
But we need a theme song under there anyway.
It's definitely going to be my first single on my first album, so don't judge me too harshly.
I love it. Next up, we're on to Mailbox. Mailbox works in two ways. You can either send us something to the address on screen, or we take your comments and we read them. This is from our friend Devin at Backcountry Exposure. This is in relation to us talking about how we use Kickstarter and why we use Kickstarter, even when people think we're a big brand. He says, if you're in the community and active, it's easy for a brand to seem established and crushing it. But bigger picture, the general consumer has never heard of you before. That consumer probably loves knives and has a handful. congrats on the current Kickstarter doing so well. Kind of fun. Thank you, Devin.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Jumping down to Shawnee Union, I'm wondering if it would ever be feasible, affordable to just purchase a new blade. Say I love my lander and want a Magna Cut blade, but don't want to buy the whole new knife. It's a great question. It's actually one that we hear fairly frequently. It's tough. You can imagine the blade of your knife as a part, and probably the most expensive part on your entire knife. So it is something that we could do, but we would have to be ordering these in hundreds or thousands of units and stuff like that.
Other problem with it is everything's hand fitted.
Is it?
So yeah,
With the crossbar lock?
Yeah, crossbar locks,
sorry,
liner locks, they're all hand fitted lock to knife.
Yeah.
And so if that gets off by even just 100 thou, you could have a lockup that's too loose or too tight. All of this is created as a package deal. Yeah. So can you switch the parts between them? Yes. Do they always function correctly? No. Yeah. So we're not going to get into the business of trying to swap blades like on a Lander 1 or 2 or anything like that. I think a good option there, if you are looking to switch your blades, look at like Havalon. They're the company that makes those little surgical blades.
Oh, okay.
Or you just get a utility blade knife.
Yeah, that's one
I hate to say it, but that's part of the reason that nobody does it is because this handle and this knife blade are fitted together. There you go. Somebody asked us kind of the same questions. Have you guys thought about making premium Knafs? I'm pretty sure there's definitely a market for it. I mean, I wouldn't mind a Lander 3 and Magna Cut in titanium. That would be super fun. Yeah. We could totally do titanium. Magna Cut's kind of hard to do overseas right now. So they don't ship a lot of it overseas. You can get it in Italy occasionally. But my understanding is that Crucible and Niagara Metals wanted to keep it in the U.S. for the first 5 years. This is rumor. Have not seen this confirmed. They wanted to keep it here in the U.S. So where the Lander 3 is made in China, you're not going to be able to easily get Magna Cut at scale. I have seen a few companies in China using Magna Cut. Yeah. So I don't know how they got it. Supply chains are fun.
There you go.
So
cool.
Next on the list here.
Yeah, Silent Tone. I think a lot of people like me that know you from Blade HQ and your collaboration with We and Civivi on the banter, simply assumed Knafs was established as a brand with all the needed industry machinery behind it.
That's an interesting. I love it.
Yeah, kind of tying back to like you've been around, we've been around, so people think that the company is maybe even more easily accepted,
maybe
right? Like
deeper roots than there actually are.
Which I'm sure there's some validity to that, but I think that it is often basically starting from new. I mean, you'd be the perfect person to tell us, but I'm sure that your relationship with, I don't know, let's just say MKM wasn't a guarantee or something like that because of something else. So
no, it's interesting because I've seen other people, like you look at Ocaso knives. Started from a guy that worked at Cold Steel forever, and he and I were chatting, and it's a struggle, man. You start at zero, even though you've worked at Cold Steel, even though you've worked at Blade HQ for years and years. You have contacts and all of that, but it is just scrape and claw. Like it's not like you got to here and you get to keep climbing. You go back to the bottom of the Tetris game.
Right.
So it's kind of a fun way to do it. Cool. This was an interesting comment from my friend Andrew Keel. He watched the discussion with Zach on YouTubers Designing Knives. So Andrew designs for Kershaw. He's an in-house designer for them. He says, as a went to school and have designed a lot of knives designer, I'm definitely down for YouTube folks designing knives. Competition almost always raises the bar for us all, which gives the end consumer a better product. I love that perspective. Thank you, Andrew. It's true. Like when another company makes something really cool, we're looking at it as a knife company, and we're saying, dang, wish I'd thought of that. I've seen a few of those the last couple of years where I'm like, oh man, that's so simple, but so good.
Yep.
Like it's fantastic.
I love it.
And then the interesting thing, this is from Cutting Board RX, which is that Cutting Board prescription? Isn't RX a prescription?
Yeah, pharmacy of some sort. I like that.
He says, why not dig a little deeper? Aren't Chinese manufacturers that you're using also making products under the brand names you're mentioning? Let's answer that. Kind of. So like We and Civivi, I design for them. They make their own knives.
Right.
Kaiser, they make their own knives, and they make knives for us as an OEM. In my mind, I have built the following chain of events. Knafs does a Kickstarter. Supplier makes 600 or more units. If these sell well, they replicate your idea with small alterations under their own brand names. Now, this is the part I want to clarify. I have seen this happen, but when we work with an OEM, for the most part, I've never, to us personally, seen that OEM take what we're doing at Knafs and replicate it across their brand.
Right.
I think when you use an OEM, you're learning things together, right? We've learned things with Kaiser that have been really helpful for them and for us.
Yeah.
I think that's the reality of working with somebody outside of your own shop is they're going to learn things, you're going to learn things. And unless it's a patent or a trademark, there's nothing other than ethics to keep somebody from going and using those things.
It is a bit of a win-win situation where you probably wouldn't be able to accomplish some of the things that you need to accomplish without the vendor, without the supplier. And the supplier maybe doesn't have the swath of new ideas and innovation and stuff like that they would have without working with small designers like yourself.
So his last question was, seriously, do you feel like you are the R&D department for these mass production companies? I don't. I think, like you said, we're learning things at the same time. And unless we were manufacturing in-house, I think you can't feel bad about it. Like, that's the reality of making things.
Yep.
Now, we've talked a lot about Kaiser. Let's go to our next segment called Field Trip. I went to the Kaiser factory in Yangjiang, China to visit them about the projects that we were working on. We're at Kaiser. We brought you a Space Kitty.
Thank you.
And we all signed it, so that is for you guys. We were actually working on the lander for Fixed Blade when I was there. I got to see the engineering team sitting there making changes, and we looked at the CAD together, got to sit around their table, got to break bread with them, had all sorts of delicious food. The thing that I thought was really fascinating, so Kaiser is actually owned by a company called Tuobito. This is the Kaiser office. The parent company is called Tuobito. That is a kitchen knife company.
I had no idea.
And so the day I was there were some people working on Kaiser knives, so like the Chris Conway, Sheepdog, there was a Justin Lundquist that was on the wall. All of these knives that you've heard of are like ready to go to manufacturing, but on that particular day, the factory was kind of quiet because most of the team was over working on the kitchen side. So it was super fascinating to just kind of walk through this almost barren shop where there's CNCs running, there's a few grinders running, but the reality is it was a little bit quiet from what I would have expected, like grinding and all this stuff, because they were in these different phases of manufacturing. When I left with my friend Neo. Okay, Neo is driving. Neo works at Kaiser. He speaks perfect English, but he doesn't want to speak on camera. Also, what's your favorite knife brand? Not Kaiser. Knafs. And he drove us back to Guangzhou, took a road trip across China. Did you know in China they eat these little seeded pears for their road trip food? Like you would probably eat sunflower seeds. I eat sunflower seeds on a road trip. They eat seeded pears, and you just suck on them. They're delicious.
You don't even chew them?
You just suck on them until like the outside falls off.
Amazing.
It's almost like a sunflower seed without the shell, and then you spit the pit out.
I mean, you should have brought one of those back. You brought us back some goodies.
I've got one. I've got one upstairs. We'll sample it.
We're gonna do
it. At the end of the show, we'll sample it.
Another food sample.
Anyway, so it was a delight to go to Kaiser. Highly enjoyed the experience, and I learned a ton about how their engineering process works, how they work together with the factory. It was super fascinating, and to me, I walked away with this new appreciation for the fact that I can send them ideas, and their team can sit there and roll the ideas over and make them reality. It's really cool to see. Thanks for having me, Kaiser. That was an incredible experience.
And now on to Bottom of the Barrel, where we take a look at a unique product across our desk every week. This week we have rich light scales from Barnescraft.
I love it.
For the Lander 1. And they've got
USA.
this made in USA. They've got a cool fluted pattern. And you may have heard at the beginning that if you didn't know, rich light is basically like a pressed particle board sort of thing.
It's like paper.
Yeah, it's like just really, really hard paper. A lot of companies use it for all kinds of stuff like outdoor tables and all kinds of like stuff that needs to be rugged and durable.
Yeah, they use it a ton for like trim on boats. Like high-end yachts.
Dang.
They're using rich light for like the paneling and
there
stuff.
There you go.
Yeah,
I saw like some cafe, like a Cafe Rio or something somewhere, some cool cafe that they had made entirely out of rich light. But yeah, these are the angled red rich light scales on our website right now. Go check them out. One of my all-time favorite Lander 1 scales, if I'm being honest.
This one's actually my personal knife.
Yeah.
And we pulled this out of my drawer.
Yeah.
Because I carried them for, I don't know, probably a month.
Yeah.
Really enjoy it. Rich light is a little different than micarta. I would say it's not as warm of a material.
Okay.
But everyone I'm talking to about different scale materials is saying rich light, actually not everyone, I should say TJ Swartz. I'm going to quote TJ. TJ's like, Richlight is much more stable than micarta when it comes to manufacturing.
Okay.
Because micarta, its inherent weakness is it absorbs oils
Right.
and moisture.
Right.
And so in manufacturing, that becomes an Achilles heel.
Got
The thing we love about it makes it incredibly hard to manufacture.
Okay.
So Richlight is a little bit harder and a little bit more stable, but then I think for me, I want it to be warmer. I want it to be like, I don't know, like feel those.
Yeah, I think I hear what you're saying. Like, I don't know, it's really hard. It's kind of polished. This has like something that your finger sinks into almost with the micarta, which I
would
appreciate.
almost put Richlight feeling more like G10
Yeah.
than micarta.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere in the middle of, not quite as hard. If you pull them off, they kind of do sound a little papery, I guess would be the word. I don't know, they have like a bit of a woody tone to them. But there's the inside if you want to see that
Sound
too.
of the forest right there.
Go. Yeah, I can almost smell the forest. Cool.
All right, last on our list today is Fresh Prints, where we take things that we have printed around the shop and show them to you. What's the first thing here, Austin?
Let's start with some little desk organizers, how about? So these are little stackable, printable 3D trays.
Off of Fitz's desk.
Fresh off of Fitz's desk. And right now he's mostly just holding on to as many pocket clips as you could ever need and some hardware and stuff. But
okay, but we gotta qualify this for a second. You pulled this off his desk and literally like pulled 20 prototype items out of here. That
all of our future products came out of this so that it could come onto the show so you could check it out. But they're super cool. They give you a bunch of options, or you can customize them yourself, which I find really neat. So all the way from like a little 1x1 to a 4x4.
I love it.
Pretty cool.
Super fun.
Yep.
And then the other Fresh Prints, I'm just going to dump them on the desk
Let's
here.
go.
So we are busy
Yes.
printing corn scales for over 800 backers in our very own shop. So these are USA made corn scales.
We've done a lot of weird things at Knafs, Ben, but did you ever think that you would print nearly 1,000 sets of baby corn scales for a knife?
No. Like, who wants to go home and tell their mom, like, Mom, I became a knife designer, started a knife company, and now we print corn scales.
Yeah.
Like that's, I don't know, like your mom's going to look at you and be like, is everything okay?
Talking about the Inside Baseball Portland conversation earlier, like this is so many levels deep of knife guy fandom. It's just like, what is a knife scale? Oh, well, let me tell you what a knife scale is, but also we 3D printed them. Well, what's 3D printing? Oh, well, it's this. Well, it's corn. Like,
what if we made ourselves a certificate?
Okay, now we're talking.
Certified U.S. grown.
US,
is this grown?
USDA, US whatever, like some sort of USDA mark on this, or we should at least get them kosher, like blessed by a rabbi or something.
I love it. Let's let us know if you know anybody that can make a certificate. We need that, guys. Let us know what you think about the city of Portland becoming Knife King. Let us know what you think about corn scales. We'll have another episode coming out for you next week.
We'll see you then.
All right, Austin, I brought you some of these. I think they're pears.
They look like vitamin C gummies almost.
Show that to the good people.
Yeah, that's pretty gnarly.
So it has a pit.
Okay. So don't eat through the pit.
You just
suck on it.
You almost kind of like upper lip it.
So one time I used to go hunting as a kid with my dad, and he had a dedicated hunting backpack that he left in the basement for the entire winter, I guess summer technically. And one year we came back to it and realized that we had left 2 or 3 apples in there, and they all looked like little mummified little things like that. Like they were completely dried and shriveled. And
it's a dried pear, and this is what they eat on their road trips. You can get them at any convenience store.
I just popped it without thinking about it at all. It's tasty. Like, yeah.
I think they put some sort of coating on it that's a little bit like tangy.
It's got tang to it for sure.
But you sit there and you drive and you just kind of like just suck on it. Like it's not a seed, like when you're eating sunflower seeds.
Yeah.
You're sitting there like cracking them.
That's
and
an
spitting them
activity.
out.
Yeah.
This is more of like a methodical like one side, the other side.
Okay.
So I have started eating them on road trips.
Pretty
They're
good.
delicious.
I like it.
Give it a score out of 10.
Oh, it's pretty high. I'm still early in this pair, but I'd call it a 7.
Solid 7.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
Thanks to Olivia for sending them to me.
Thanks, Olivia.
That's it.